Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be going through all the books that I managed to read in May. So yeah, let's get to it. I had a pretty good reading month in April. I think I read about 9 books. We're not too far behind this month. I am on book 7. Whether or not I get 7 completed by the end of May, we shall see. But I would say I've read a few books with more substance, and by substance I mean pages, in May. So to still get 7 books compared to April's, which you can check out here, it's pretty good going. So this is the pile. There are only 5 here because 2 of the books I read are now currently at my sister's, but I will talk about them be screenshotted rather than me holding the physical book. So yeah, let's get to it. We started May off with a rather so-so book. If you've been following me along on any of my channels, you'll know that I'm reading the Guild series by Raven Kennedy. I feel like I've said that phrase so many times over the past few weeks, but Glow is book 4 in the Guild series, and you can see how hefty it is. Now, don't get me wrong, I may have to eat my words a little bit from my April wrap-up. Yeah, I'm just excited to see where it goes. I'm definitely going to read the whole series. I can't imagine anything dissuading me off the series. Now, I won't say I'm not going to finish the series, but I will say getting through Glow was a pretty big chore for me. The whole plot in this book just seemed to like taper off. So Gleam was literally 5 stars. I almost gave it 6, but Glow for me was a solid 3-star read. I just felt like the momentum of the book dropped off completely. I'm not going to linger too long on this book. Like I said, it was a 3-star. We did get a new point of view chapter in this. We got Osric's point of view, and I will say, for any Cassian girls out there, Osric is definitely your kind of guy, so read it just for Osric's chapters. And the chapters between Slade and Oran kind of made it worth it. The last 150 pages were really good, as is the case with most fantasy novels. However, it did not need to be 700 pages. So yeah, May started off kind of, it could get better from here. First book of May was Glow, book 4 in the Guild series by Raven Kennedy. And we had Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is the 4th in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I have been waiting for this book to come out for ages. People at work were teasing me because I was saying how much I fancied Dusty on the cover. Literally look at him, the tattoos. Anyway, we digress. Is it unhealthy that I fancy a cartoon character? I'm going to go with no, because each to their own. I was really excited about this book, and you know what, it absolutely delivered. This was a 5-star read for me. It wasn't the most groundbreaking book, but it's a cowboy romance, so I don't necessarily think we expect them to be, but it just did everything I wanted it to. Dusty is literally the best cowboy I've ever read about. If I can convince you to read this book by none other than the fact that Dusty is literally a cowboy version of Machine Gun Kelly. You might not be an MGK fan, and that's fine for you, but if you think MGK is good looking, then Dusty will definitely be the man for you. There's a scene where he ties his hair back, so I'm all here for the man bun, or top half up, bottom half down. That's a bit of me. Also, not only does he have tattoos, he has a nose ring. So I feel like that I'm convincing you to read this book just for Dusty, but the actual like plot development and the relationship in the book is like written really well. It's the least cringy of all 4 books. So this is my favourite book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I just felt like it was a really nice end to the series. Dusty is a he falls first, he falls harder. I don't know if that's a trope, but if it is, Dusty is that. I just think the character development in this is quite nice, and it didn't feel forced at all. Yeah, no bad things to say about this book. It was really enjoyable. I would also say another reason to read Wild and Wrangled is that if you like The Notebook and you like kind of Noah's speech to Ali towards the end of The Notebook, then you're also going to love this book. There's resonances between like The Notebook and this book, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, Wild and Wrangled, possibly my top book, or maybe my tied top book for the month of May. But yeah, if you've read this book, what did you think? Are you as in love with Dusty as I am? Also, which is your favourite in the Rebel Blue Ranch series? This holds top space for me, like no questions asked. This is it. So yeah, book 2, a much better improvement from Glow. Then the next book I did read was The Wind Weaver by Julie Johnson. Don't have it with me as I gave it to my sister to read. This is a fae romantasy book that is based on having powers related to the elements, which was kind of the hook for me. I thought that was really cool. having a magic system that's a little bit different. I did give this book 3.25 stars, and it's not because I didn't enjoy it. I do just think for a 500-page book, it took me way too long to get into it, and maybe it was me and it was a right book, wrong time kind of scenario. But I did really like it. It was really good. Like I'm like really dying for the next book, but this one's only just come out, so we won't be getting the next one next. But I feel like maybe some of the plot twists that came up in it, because again it's like fae romantasy. Have I read too many fae romantasy books to really like for them to really hit home? Possibly, but I would still recommend it. I know 3.25 stars isn't a glowing recommendation, but it was still good. I also did like a little quick review on my shorts for The Wind Weaver, so you can check that out too if you want a little succinct version of why you should read it. So yeah, why should you read it? The elemental magic system in it is pretty cool. It's around the concept that there's 4 remnants, and a remnant is someone who holds one of the elemental powers. So our main girl, she holds wind as her power, hence the name Wind Weaver, and it's about her kind of like finding herself, coming into that power. She gets taken prisoner by a commander who doesn't love the dark-haired commander, and then it's about how they travel to like the Fae realm and what goes on in between, how we get to the end of the book, where there's a bit of a like dicey situation. It was good. It was enemy to lover. It was slow burn romance tropes that I speak about time and again because they are my favourite. But I don't know if it felt like there was just an element, there was something lacking a little bit. And also this is probably a really superficial thing to say, but MMC's name literally gave me the ick. Name is Pen for short, which is short for Pendifier, and every time I read the word Pendifier it was just given like pompous British schoolboy. I don't know, I just wasn't here for it all. I won't lie, I wasn't here for it all. And then when I read the word pen, I thought of Penn Badgley, and then I was thinking of you, and I was just like not in the zone for a fantasy book. But that aside, it was still good. There's an element of a love triangle in it. So like one of the other characters, he's called Soren. And then I saw on the author's Instagram page, so this isn't a spoiler, she made a comment about like when readers read Wind Weaver and they're like, who's she going to end up with, like Pen or Soren? So I'm quite looking forward to book 2 because I do quite like a love triangle. I feel like when there's stakes and then what if she ends up with who you don't want her to be, it like makes you more invested in the book. So yeah, 3.25, not a terrible read at all. How pretty is the book cover? Like I bought it on the cover alone. 3.25, not a terrible read, would still definitely recommend because the end was really good, and I'm excited for the second book in the series. And perhaps my favourite book of the month / tied first place with Wild and Wrangled was The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I have already said this on every social media channel. I think I did a short about it too, but if I could inject this book into my veins, I would. If I could read this book again for the first time, I would do anything to do that. I would sell an organ to be able to read it for the first time. I don't know what Jessa Hastings puts into her books, but she certainly knows how to ruin a person. So if that reaction doesn't give it away already, I gave The Conditions of Will 5 stars. I just absolutely devoured it. It was everything I wanted out of a book. It was quite, I don't know, painful to read. It felt painful in places, but I'll caveat that and say it's not as painful as Magnolia Parks. So I still think about Magnolia Parks and it's kind of gut-wrenching, whereas The Conditions of Will, I think it's painful because it's like so poetic and so beautifully written. But I would say if you're feeling emotionally unstable at the moment, The Conditions of Will is still absolutely fine to read without it causing you too much trauma. Whereas I would say Magnolia Parks is quite traumatising. And you know, sometimes you need that in a book, but sometimes life is a bit heavy and you've got stuff going on and you just need something that's gonna offer you an outlet or an escape from that pain. Do you think Magnolia Parks can add to whatever pain you've currently got going on? So yeah, tangent aside, The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings is a 5-star read for me. I will say though, you read the blurb and you're like unsure if you want to read it. The blurb does an awful job of telling you what the book's about. So the blurb is not indicative of the plot, but basically what happens, Georgia, the main girl, goes home for her father's funeral to a family that she doesn't get on with. other than her one brother. She's got like a secret that happened from when she was younger. That is why there's tension within her family home. She gets on with one of her brothers, but he's an alcoholic, and he's also into boys. So it was kind of interesting. It was an interesting dynamic. Brother who is gay brings along his AA sponsor, and then there's a connection between Georgia and Sam, who's the AA sponsor. But then, like any torrid love affair, her brother also kind of fancies his sponsor. So it was a different dynamic to read, but I thought it was quite interesting. Sam is everything you'd want in a book boyfriend. He's tall, he's Australian, he's got tattoos. Not me thinking about getting like a flaming heart tattoo with a knife through it, because that's what Sam has. Like, this is how far I take my obsessions, but a girl has to do what a girl has to do. Plot twist at the end of the Conditions of Will that I thought was really obvious, to be honest. And then the end felt a little, there was one point at the end that I just thought was kind of random, wasn't sure I was happy about it, didn't really feel like it did anything for me. But the rest of the book was so good, like just the feeling that it evoked within me is literally why I got a 5-star read. Like, you know, a book has done its job when it's all you think about for the preceding days afterwards, when it's like you can feel it in your stomach when you read a book and then you talk about it afterwards. It's like you haven't just read a book, it's like a whole embodied experience. Like, you feel it in your body when you're talking about the book. I'm not sure if anyone gets what I'm saying, if this is something you've experienced or if this is just how I experience reading, but honestly, like, I just wish I could read that book again. It was just really, it was a feeling reading that book. It wasn't like it wasn't just a book to tick off, it was like a whole feeling. So if you can take one book away from this May wrap up that I implore you to read, it is The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. In the next book, we continue my foray into the Guild series by Raven Kennedy. This is book 5 in the Guild series. It's called Gold. Again, another chunky one. I think it was like 650 pages. From the tone of my voice, you can probably tell I'm like sick of this series by now. I literally ate my words from the last video. It's not that I'm sick of it, I just feel like the pacing is all off in this series. This book got 3.25, so a slight improvement from Glow, but everything that happened in this book was just a complete random tangent. So say if we're going down a straight road with the plot's the road, we're on our car, this book decided to just exit when there's not even a road. It took a left and it's just gone straight into the bushes, like it's taken a left and it hasn't even taken a side road. Everything that happened in this book was just a complete swerve from the previous book. It added nothing to progress the plot along. All it did was steer the plot off track. But again, the last 150 pages made this book up for me. I'm going to finish the series because I need to know how it ends, but I need to finish the series in between other books at this point, which is a real shame because I had such high hopes for this series. So 3.25, I will say, again, Osric's chapters saved this book, but surprisingly, Melina's also saved this book. So I commented on my TikTok, and I think I did a short as well, how in book 2 I hated Melina's chapters. She was a Man and Blackbeak for me. When Man and first came into Throne of Glass, I was just like, yawn, your chapters are boring, get me out of here. But by the end of Kingdom of Ash, I loved Manon's chapters, and it's the same in this series. It's been such a nice journey to actually start to enjoy Melina's chapters. So her chapters were even better than Osric's in this book. I just feel like her character development and her like kind of redemption arc was really nice. So yeah, Melina saved this book. Excited to see what happens in the next one. Two plot twists at the end of this book that were again pretty predictable. Again, I don't know if it's because I'm so immersed in fae fantasy. I've read it so often over the years now, like perhaps it's inauthentic, like they're not original plot twists in my opinion, so I find them quite guessable. But it will be interesting to see, like, have you read Gold? No spoilers for people in the comments, but did you guess any of the plot twists, or were they new for you? So yeah, Gold, 3.25. It didn't win any awards for originality. I still like the characters, I'm still excited to see where it goes, but I'm just not ready to finish the series yet. Also, I do always find when you're reading a book, read it in context to the other books that you've read recently. This book ultimately was never going to compare to The Conditions of Will for how it made me feel. So unfortunately for this book, it followed a very high experience for me, so like it was never going to compare to it. So not terrible, not amazing. I will get on to the end at some point, and then I'll do a full review on what I thought of the series as a whole. The next book I read, I wanted something quick to get through, light-hearted and easy, something just quite different from Gold. So I picked The Wings of Starlight by Alison Saft. Where do I start with this book? Where do I start? So I did a little last read, currently reading, future reads that you can check out here, which were my initial reactions to this book. The book is basically a sweeping star-crossed romance between the Queen of Pixie Hollow and the Lord of the Winter Woods. So the Queen of Pixie Hollow is Clarion. She's our main pixie fairy in this. The vibe to like the Disney fairies, so like Tinkerbell and that. Clarion is the main character in this, and it's like basically following her journey to when she becomes queen and takes over being queen of Pixie Hollow. Darkness that comes into the hollow that threatens all the citizens of Pixie Hollow, and it's how she works. She takes it upon herself before she's queen to solve this problem, how she can get rid of this threat before kind of it like destroys all of her world. So Clarion is a warm season fairy. So you've got the warm season fairies, you've got the winter fairies. So warm season is spring, summer, autumn, and then you've got the winter fairies who are like the outcasts in the fairy society. I think you can see where this is going. Clarion has always felt some kind of pull, some kind of draw to the winter fairies. So in her hunt to destroy the darkness which comes from winter, she decides to go to the border of spring and winter, which is where she meets the Lord of the Winter Woods, the Warden of the Woods, Millery. He's very Rowan Whitethorn-esque. He has white silver hair, half tied up, half down, you know, pointy ears as any pixie would have, but he's very gentle, he's very YA. I would say he takes the she falls first, he falls harder trope to a whole new level. This book, if you want a book filled with yearning, spouting capital letters, underline, then this is your book. It's a book for you. Millery and Clarion work together to fight the darkness before all of Pixie Hollow is destroyed. And I'll leave it at that because I don't want to give any spoilers for this book, but I will say that I read the end of the book and just had to lie down and stare at the ceiling for 10 minutes. I'm still kind of thinking about it now. For a book that's all whimsical and cutesy, it certainly left a bit of a punch at the end. But yeah, reasons to read this. It's really whimsical if you like whimsical fantasy. It's short and really easy to get through. It's quite YA though, so if you're not into like young adult or pretty, like there's no spice in this book at all. It's very slow burn, which I absolutely love. Perhaps the most you get is a kiss, which, you know, sometimes you need that level of just non-intimacy. Yeah, this was a really good read for me. I gave it 4 stars. Another reason to read is if you were into Tinkerbell, you would love this. It will be very like nostalgic for you. Upon completion of this book, I had to do some googling. This is a prequel to Clarion's story in The Secret of Wings, the Tinkerbell film, which I have myself not watched. However, I think I will be watching it now just to give me like an extended ending to what happens at the end of this book. I gave this a 4 stars. Don't really have anything bad to say about this book, to be honest. It was really cute, it was really whimsical, and it was more high stakes at the end than I was anticipating it to be. So yeah, The Wings of Starlight was my 6th read of May, and we're ending May on a relative high. I think I am about 1/3 through Enchantra by Katie Smith. This is the second book after Phantasma. For those who don't know, it is like a gothic fantasy, gothic romantasy novel. I will say I think this book mugs you off a little bit. On the front cover it says spicy, I don't know if you can read that, it says a spicy fantasy romance. I started this book on the train, and I don't need to be called out for when I'm reading spicy romance in public. One, I wouldn't even say that this is that spicy. Like Phantasma, I wouldn't even say it's like a spicy romance. It's not spicy romance enough for it to be put on the front cover. This is clearly just a selling point. But I'm just sat minding my own business on the train, and then people look at my book and see that I'm reading spicy fantasy romance. This book is so pretty. It's like dark and enticing, and I'm so here for it. Same with Phantasma, has a really nice cover as well. It's like the purple on it's so juicy. Yeah, so juicy. So far what I've read, I'm really enjoying it. Moving on from Phantasma, this book follows Ophelia's sister Genevieve. Like Phantasma follows Ophelia going into like a kind of game. Enchantra follows the same thing. She goes into a house and then she has to partake in a competition where she has to pretend to be in love with someone as part of the game for them to be able to win it. This book so far it's got a really nice pace. After Wings of Starlight, I just really felt like I needed something a bit more dark and gothic-y because that was so cute and whimsical, and this book is ticking the boxes for me. I love a gothic fantasy. I like trials and games in a book because you never know how it's going to go, and this book is hitting that for me. I also like the demons and devil aspects that we see in Phantasma and then also see in Enchantra. I think that's just quite a different kind of fantasy than we get these days. Like, it's not fae fantasy, it's not werewolves, vampires, etc, etc. It's like devils and demons, and I really love that in this book. Also, Rowan is another book boyfriend I think I'm in love with. I don't know what it is about piercings at the moment, I'm really feeling it. So Dusty had a nose ring, Rowan has a lip ring. Clearly that is a staple for me at the moment in book boyfriends. Tattooed, piercings, I'm really here for it, I'm really here for it. So yeah, Rowan is just, he may knock Dusty off his pedestal. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I imagine the stakes in this will be as high as they are in Phantasma. I just like the powers in this book. Ophelia is a necromancer, but Genevieve is she's not a ghost, I can't think of what the word is, but she can make herself go invisible basically, and that's her power. So I think that's quite cool. Again, a different kind of power that we see. I like how into herself Genevieve is. Like, she knows what she can bring to the table, and I think that's quite nice to see rather than a simpering, wimpy FMC. I like that about her. It's giving like enemy to lovers, but I'm not sure where it will go. We've already had a bit of a tense moment between Genevieve and Rowan where he like forces her back against like the labyrinth of trees that encircles the mansion in this. So yeah, forced proximity, enemy to lovers. I feel like it's going to be slow burn. Apparently it's going to be spicy, so I've got that to look forward to. I'm quite happy to be finishing May with Enchantra because it's always nice to read a book that you can't put down, whereas as I've said, Glow and Gold were not those books for me. Not a bad month for reading in May. That is my May reading wrap up. I have read 6, I'm on book 7. Let me know in the comments how many books you've read this month, which was your favourite book, which was your least favourite book, and I'll see you in the next video.